to listen to meditation and freedom from fear. Before it is started, I would request all of you to close your eyes and sit in silence for 1 minute. Now, fear is a strange phenomenon. All of us, we human beings, all of us have various types of fears, different types of fears, as many as there are human beings. We have fear of failure. We have fear of not being loved. We have fear of not being able to accumulate wealth. We have fear of losing our power. We have also fear of somebody, maybe fear of our wife, fear of our husband, fear of losing wife, fear of losing husband. So there are very many types of fear in our lives. Now, have you actually I request you to listen to whatever being said with a very clear mind, in the sense, the mind must be very receptive. What happens, listening also is an art. Normally, when we listen with all sorts of our prejudices, our opinions, past accumulations. So when a speaker speaks to you, we are not fully present there. Our calculation, our measuring, our comparing, our sense of right and wrong, good or bad, all those measurement goes on when someone listens. So as a result, what happened? The listening doesn't happen perfectly. To listen to somebody, one must have a very clear mind. Mind must be very silent, very receptive. It is neither accepting nor rejecting. It is that state of mind. So we must listen. We must be alert to that extent, so we listen that way. Now, here I am not teaching you anything. Here I am the person, this man is only telling you, just observe yourself. In yourself, you are teaching yourself. You are the teacher and you are the taught at the same time. Please watch in yourself as these words are being said, that the fear is always in relation to something. Fear cannot exist by itself. It has to be with regard to something, some object is there. Now, fear with, like, it is a fear of different types of fear, like losing one's reputation, losing one's name, losing one's fame. Now, when fear becomes very dominant in one's life, so what one does, what one tries to do, he tries to first get rid of fear. How he sometimes tries his willpower. See, I'll not do this, I'll not do that. So he tries to control. Or sometimes also he goes to an authority who knows, maybe a psychologist. He will show, he will analyze. But in analysis also, one cannot be free of fear, because the analyzer himself is not free from fear. So whatever the analyzer, being a fragment, he is also a fragment, he is not a whole person. Being a fragment, he cannot analyze the other fragment. Then for freeing oneself from fear, we also read books and try to follow whatever instruction given in that book. But still, you must have seen, they don't work at all. Because fear is something very deep-rooted. So fear, when the fear happens when actually you watch in yourself with a object of fear, the fact of fear, there is no fear. But when you start becoming involved, that means when the movement of thoughts continues about that fact. With the fact as it is, there is no fear. But when the mind starts moving with regard to that facts, and that movement of mind is according to one's conditioning, one's past. But maybe one is due to guilt feeling, maybe one has done something one should not have done, or maybe traditional conditioning also creates that fear. So long as the mind is with the fact, then there is no fear. But the moment there is thinking about the fact, when there is thought movement about the fact, then only the fear grips oneself. Now, one cannot be free by power of will. You might have also tried in many ways. By power of will, one cannot be free of fear. By reading books, one cannot be free from fear. But even by analyzing also, by analyzer, psychologist, psychoanalysis, one cannot be free from fear. Now, what basic thing one has to understand, that when I am afraid of something, when I am fearful of something, then what happens? My mind divides itself, and one authority from that comes up, and that authority says, I'll do something about it. I'll try, power of will. I'll go to a psychologist, or maybe I'll take resort to some other escapes, like reading books, watching television, going to a theater. But still, you cannot be free from fear, because it is already there. When you are alone, that fear grips you. You get involved with the fear, and that involvement means what? It is always in terms of thoughts. When those thoughts, involvement is there, then there is, you are identified with fear, and you become very miserable. One becomes very miserable. So what is important to understand, that is basic to understand, that division between when I look at a fact, then my thought starts moving. Means my conditioning, my past, which is the me, that starts moving, that starts thinking, that starts imagining, and that creates a fear in me. But what happens normally? At that point, there is a division. The one part says, I'll do something about it. But that authority that says, I'll do something about it, is it different